Ladies and gentlemen, just bear with us one moment while we get the agenda pulled up, and we'll start here momentarily.
The agenda should be up. Can everybody see it?
Yep. Mr. Lowry, we went over the rules, so whenever you're ready, just give me the word and I'll start.
Yep, let's start.
Okay. Number one, Jared and I would like to talk to you about administrative assistant position change. Currently, there's a secretary position vacant at Eisenhower, and the administration is recommending changing the position from 230 days a year to 210 days a year with administrative flexibility to bring her in if need be. It's a good fit for her. It's a good fit for Aaron. Jared had a conversation with Aaron. Aaron's in full support of it. So is the person going into that position. So we'll need approval from the board of directors. Jared, can you please let Ms. Lowry and the committee know about the conversation you had with this individual that reassured you that she feels comfortable with this and she'll meet the demands of the job?
Yeah, we still need to post it. So we're still, after the approval tonight, we'll post it for anybody else who may be interested in the position. But we did this last year with the special ed position where we made it 210 days, but gave some flexibility for some additional days if time is needed. And it really does help the district possibly save some money in years where there may not be the need for that person to work as many days. But some years we do. We have projects going on where that position may need 230, and that'll be made aware to whoever takes this position that the minimum's 210 days, which covers all teaching days, all student days, and then gives some flexibility before school starts, after school is over, and then during the summer, a couple days a week. And then the 20 days would really be used over the summer if there is a need for it. If there's not, the district saves some money by not having to pay the person the guaranteed minimum of 230 days. So we feel it's the right move, not only for this position, but possibly the other 230-day positions that we have across the district, kind of setting up a similar schedule where it's 210 days with the option for an additional 20 days if we feel a need in any given year. So we feel it's a good move for the district overall.
Okay, thanks, Jared.
So at this point, Ms. Lowry will entertain any questions. If not, we can move on, but it's a pretty straightforward motion.
Yep, I have no questions.
Okay. Number two, an item, this one comes from me, Ms. Lowry. I'm asking that the nurses get paid an extra 2 days to help with the reopening planning. They've been working diligently, working with me, Dr. Minnick, Sarah Teacher Hartzell, who's doing her internship, Rob Heinrich, all of us really tried to develop a plan to get ready for reopening. As of last week on June 3rd, we got information, the template from PDE about a health and safety plan that we're required to do. The template came out on Friday, and they're going to be a big part of this work. So not only do they have to get ready for the normal year, but add this health and safety plan on, and their work and their help is needed. Again, we support this request, and what really stands out to me is not only are schools not allowed to open until July 1st, but really not allow kids in the doors until this plan is written and approved by the board of directors. So their help's needed. And I wouldn't make this request flippantly if I didn't think there was some value and some need for it. But as we go forward and we talk about how we're going to isolate kids or staff who may need to be quarantined, how we're going to deal with 504 plans, how we're going to deal with kids or staff who have symptoms such as, related to COVID-19 and other issues, their help is going to be needed in us building this plan. We have a nice draft started based on the work we've done. Then when we saw the template on Friday, they threw some additional things that we have to address, and we'll be well ahead. Our goal is to try to get you something by June 22nd as a first look, but regardless of our efforts, their help, their assistance is needed. So we're respectfully asking the board to consider paying them 2 extra days for Lindy Stossel, Beth Mock, Brenda Pierce, and Devin Borst. So we'll work as a group, and I assure you they've been doing a great job. Myself, Sarah, and Dr. Minnick have been working with them, and we can speak to the quality of work and things they've been doing. So we just come forward with some humility and a favored request for 2 extra days for them, Madam Ms. Lowry.
Well, I think it makes sense. I mean, they're ultimately the folks that are going to have to implement whatever plan we come up with and is approved. So it makes sense to have them involved in the beginning.
Yep, we agree wholeheartedly. So thank you very much. If there's no other questions, what we could do is
Nope.
we can let them know. But is that okay with you, Ms. Lowry?
Yeah, that's fine. I
Okay.
don't know who else is here. If anybody else have any questions. Okay, sounds good.
All right. Randy, if we could scroll down a little bit. So the next thing I want to update you on, Ms. Lowry, and the committee is this is PDE's preliminary guidance on a phased reopening. So they're coming out and they're giving us some guidance at this current time about reopening and what it looks like, and that it has to align to Governor Wolf's 3-phased plan, which in this case is red, yellow, or green. In this case, there's a couple requirements, and one, we have to include a pandemic coordinator and or a team. What we're going to do is do both. I'll be serving as the coordinator. You don't need any special skill set, but since I'm overall in charge of the district, as far as, from my purview as administration, I'll place myself as that coordinator. And then we have a team approach where administrators, nurses, and the IAEA will serve as the rest of the team. Now, with that said, though, Ms. Lowry, we are meeting with the county superintendents and their administrative teams tomorrow, and we're trying to go about this as either an Indiana County approach and or an IU approach. And we're not sure yet. Tomorrow I meet with the Indiana County supers. We're going to talk and plan as a team. And then on Wednesday, I meet with the IU. But regardless, what we do, we have to have a local plan. It has to have a team and a coordinator name, which we've done. And I want to reiterate the fact that we need to go slow to go fast, as we've been talking about with athletics and everything else, because one, this plan can't, no face-to-face instruction can occur before July 1st or until this plan is approved. So the clock is ticking on our end, and with only one board meeting in July, we're trying to, do this to go slow to go fast, but get it done well. We've been working on it pretty diligently. Again, I have a meeting with the health services, the nurses tomorrow. There's some work to be done, but I at least want to let the committee know that this is a requirement. It's going to require board approval. And what's going to happen is a couple things. It requires board approval placed on our website, and then we have to send it to PDE. Now, here's the one, if you want me to have a problem, here's the problem. PD does not approve or deny it. They simply accept it. And they have put it on their record that they received it. So a lot of this is on us. So that's why we're reaching out to various stakeholders. We're reaching out to other experts to get their input, and we're trying to get everyone's decision, thoughts, processes on this, as it's a very, very broad and big topic. And again, our goal, so is next week to present at Buildings and Grounds the preliminary format, what we came up with, and hopefully, if we're ready, try to seek approval on the 22nd. Now, let me tell you this, though, Ms. Lowry, if the board says, hey, look, I like it, but this has to be a living document, we reserve the right and have the right to update it and approve it as we see fit. So if we approve it one time, I can come back in August if things change and we can reapprove it. So I just want to give you an update. That's where we're at from a planning side. It helped. It's, the good thing, and I'll let the other administrators speak. The one thing I'm most proud of, Ms. Lowry, is when I look at this, we were ahead of the curve. We anticipated a lot of their questions. We anticipated a lot of things that were coming down the pike. So we're in a good place. What we're doing, Ms. Lowry, and we'll show you next week, is we're basically saying, okay, in red, we know it's remote learning. So that just speaks for itself. It's a continuation of what we've done since March. But what we did in our plan is we try to say, what do things look like in yellow and or green phase? That way it's a little bit more aligned to the Governor Wolf's plans, and it makes sense and it's easy to read. And we'll be prepared to bring that out next week. But I wanted to bring it to this committee attention, because you're going to have to look at some policies too. For example, I'm going to advocate and request the committee support us on having some flexible attendance requirements for those who may want to be remote learners, or those who may be sick, and we have to be flexible. Anyone, God forbid, anyone who contracts COVID-19, we want to work with them to make sure we're flexible the best we can, not to be punitive or draconian in our attendance policies, but we're helpful and supportive. So there's going to be things coming down the road, but since we have to really officially adopt it as a board, I thought it started, since we just got it last week as well, the conversation should start here. It'll continue into next week, and hopefully, if we're ready, try to approve in June 22nd. If not, Ms. Lowry, we'll shoot for July, but know this, we're working diligently to get that ready. Administration, Rob, Aaron, Jared, Justin, anyone else want to add to that, what we're working on, or any thoughts about the PDE preliminary guidance at this point?
The only thing I'd like to say is that we also are working with Alpha to make sure that they're included in the plan. I did make those contacts today.
Rob, anything going on?
No, I don't have much more to add than what you covered, Mike.
Okay, Ms. Lowry. So again, it's just an FYI at this point. What I'll do, Ms. Lowry, if you're okay with it, I'll send you the draft of what we're working on tonight. I meet tomorrow again with the nurses, then tomorrow afternoon with the Indiana County administrators, Wednesday with the IU, and we'll keep you posted. But we feel we'll be ready, but I can't promise you at this time, Ms. Lowry. I think she dropped off. Mr. President, can I defer to you, sir? Because I think Mr. Harley's having microphone concerns. So, Mr. President, any questions? Oh, I think
Sorry.
I think Uda just joined us.
I'm sorry, Ms. Lowry. I was rambling. I didn't know where you cut off. Did you need me to repeat anything?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, I got kicked out, so I'm back.
Okay.
I think, I think the plan sounds good to align with what the governor's office is doing. And it is going to have to be a living document. Otherwise, you're just going to have to be recreating the wheel, and there's no sense in doing that. So thank you for all of your hard work, you and your team.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much. And if it's okay with you, Ms. Lowry, I'll go on to the second item.
Please.
Randy, if you could scroll down a little bit regarding staffing. What we're going to do is we're going to start conducting interviews for the vacancies. At this point, we had a meeting with our state legislators. We're feeling more and more, ready to get open up, as that's the impression we're getting from our state leaders, that we could be faced with opening up. So what we're doing at this point, Ms. Lowry, is we're going to start interviewing for those teaching positions, and we're going to try to see if we can be ready in June or July, so the board can decide what steps they want to do moving on at this point. Now, the other thing I want to bring you up to speed about is, we had 12 retirements, and we were going to replace about half of those. And right now, we're also going to make another adjustment. When we look at our flexibility and our staffing and our ESL numbers, we're able to make another change. So what we're going to recommend, I'm going to recommend and ask for this committee support, is that we're not going to replace one of the special ed vacancies for this year. We won't eliminate the position, but we won't replace it. And then we'll keep it in case we ever need to bring it back. But when we look at our numbers, we think at this point we can get by and we can get through and still offer the proficient, adequate amount of services we need to our kids in special needs. But again, it's an opportunity to get another savings, which at this point with the pandemic, I'd advise we take that into consideration. Justin is on the line. I'll turn it over to Justin, and he can explain really what that means in the big picture. But know this, we know we feel we can move forward and absorb this loss, and then continue to monitor it in the future and see if we need to bring it back. We'll reserve that right. Mr. Zorchak?
Yeah, Mike, I think that the move makes sense. I think given our financial circumstances, I think that, I looked at our caseloads and our rosters, and we still remain well within the limits of maximum caseloads for learning support classrooms. And so essentially what happened was, we did have a reduction in students receiving ESOL support. And so then that frees up another staff member that can take on that, which we have a staff member that was teaching only one period a day that's going to be teaching a little bit more. And then that kind of frees us up. And so because of that reduction in ESOL students, we can kind of shift and move some people around so that we can cover that spot.
And Justin and Rob and Jared, would you agree? Basically, what we're able to do is become more efficient with our staffing, maximize their certifications, and make sure we're being more efficient with our resources, our funds, and most importantly, our staffing. And the one teacher did an amazing job exiting a lot of kids out of ESL, and we're going to have her help out in some other areas at Ike and some tutoring and some other assistance. And she's amazing, and I think she'll do an amazing job there. So, Rob, Jared, or Aaron, anything you want to add to that?
It's a definite win-win, and it's a smart move, I think, especially now when we have the vacancy. We could always hire someone down the road if if the numbers go back up or we run into some trouble. But I think it is the best way to maximize our efficiency and the use of our staff, and still, keep supports very, very high for kids.
I think it sounds great. I think if you've been able to make progress with as many students as it sounds like. Those staff should be commended for doing a great job and motivating those students to do what they need to do. And like you all said, if we find that we have a need for additional services, then we'll have the ability to provide those. But if we don't need to at this point, I think it sounds like a smart move.
Okay, Ms. Lowry, that's all we have. If there's any other questions, that's all we have though, but we'll entertain any other questions that may exist at this time.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. If there's no other questions from the committee, then we'll end this committee meeting at 5:47 p.m. and I'll see everyone in a couple of minutes here at the exec session, then for the regular board meeting.
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.